Man, streaming last night for Dark MAGA for over 3 hours was definitely something. I had a phenomenal time. It was like one of those old school days where we got to hang out during the Trump rallies, during the campaign. You got to see Mr. 47 in all his glory up there on the stage, making us laugh, making us think, and making America great again. Thank you to everybody that joined me last night. I don't know if you guys had as much fun as I did, but I am still on an election high. Like, I still am thrilled that Donald Trump is in office and that we're getting everything plus more that we wanted. We're getting the snack pack, baby. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, that's because you weren't in the live last night. But appreciate all of you. Thank you for always hitting the like and subscribe button. Thank you for always leaving comments on the video, sharing it with your friends and family. We had over 100. We had consistently 115 plus people watching on X. We had consistently about 50 people on Rumble and 50 people plus on YouTube. So it was a great night for podcasting here on the Bald Brad channel. Well, let's get right into the news. We got a nice morning summary for all of you where we're going to very briefly look at 100 days of Trump. We're going to be looking at making America healthy again, patriots. And lastly, there's this Meta, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, has this AI chatbot that is allegedly sexting with children, minors, teenagers. So we're going to break that down as well. That is a new uncharted territory in terms of these AI chatbots, because you're seeing what Elon Musk is doing with robots, those sex robots or something like that in Japan. And the theory behind what's going to happen is men and women too are going to start being attracted to these AI bots because they know what you want and they're going to cater to everything that you would like. And that's going to diminish and kind of have a decline of birth rates and people kind of being with each other. So we're going to see the outgrowths of that. It hasn't happened. So we'll see. But here we have Trump taking a victory lap after 100 days in office. So tens of thousands that we watched last night turned out for what was a political rally, a victory party, some would say, and a highlight reel all in one. It was the whole package for us, baby. The president has made clear that he feels the media has not given him credit for all he has accomplished. We covered that last morning. It was somewhere in the range of, what was it, like 92 to 97% of ABC, NBC, and CBS coverage was negative about Donald Trump. It was, in 100 days, those three outlets combined, which are mega legacy outlets, had 143 statements made. Think about that. Wall-to-wall coverage of Donald Trump, and we're only able to say 143 things that may have been positive. That doesn't even mean that they were positive, just was leaning ever so slightly, just tipping your toe into the water, but just your nail of your toes dipping in. Positivity. People are saying, same here. Rumble is doing funny stuff this morning. Hopefully Rumble's doing okay. If not, we're also over on X and we're also over on YouTube. We also have here the event titled The 100th Day in Office Achievement Speech was held just outside Detroit in Macomb County, which was crucial to Trump's victory in 2024. And that was something that was touted as well. Trump mentioned a lot of his accomplishments, the Lake and Riley Act, which is a big deal. He also talked about the border being secure, which is exactly what we all voted for. And the one thing that we also like that isn't a part of this article, but Stephen Miller mentioned on his White House lawn speech, I guess if you want to call it, or take an interview questions, is it's not enough, according to Donald Trump. The deportations that Tom Homan is conducting is not enough and not meeting the expectation of the president. So I like hearing that. Now, that messaging can only go so long for me before I start getting upset. That can't be like, oh, well, let's do a year long. Well, there's still not enough. We're still only doing this much. You are behind right now. You need an exponential function to take place on these flights and getting these criminals, illegal aliens out of here. What they're doing is I'm not satisfied, not even close to being satisfied. I'm underwhelmed with what they're doing there. Ecstatic about the border. I'll take what I can get, but I was also promised something big by Tom Homan Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, the whole brigade over there. That part, I'm not seeing the mass deportations, not to the effect of what they were promising. Now, we are having Making America Healthy Again gains. This was something that was briefly highlighted, something that I haven't really touched on all that much, and that's my fault with what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is doing. Now, he was sworn in as the Secretary of Health and Human Services, which is one of the bigger departments in the government, and with the whole objective of making America healthy again. And so just the other week, he announced artificial food dyes and colorings by the end of 2026, specifically these ones listed here. And I guess they're petroleum-based synthetic dyes, which is probably not a pretty good thing to eat. The one I've heard the most of is Red 40. And I've heard that is very bad for you, I guess. And I've been eating it my entire life. Maybe, just maybe, one of these are due to my male pattern baldness. And maybe I can file a suit saying, you made me bald, I can't get my hair back, I don't know who I am anymore. Right, and then throw in the whole harm and punishment or whatever the hell all that stuff is. Q can help me figure it out. So another huge development is the transportation of Snap. I think I heard somebody kind of comment this about this last night, actually, in Dark Mag. I forgot who it was. Somebody threw the word snap in there in all caps. Commonly called food stamps, Kennedy has made it clear that he doesn't want, and I agree with him on this, he doesn't want the government subsidizing purchases like soda, candy, or other highly processed junk foods, and he encourages states to submit a waiver to the Department of Agriculture to limit SNAP purchases. 100% agree. You shouldn't be buying crap food that's overpriced, by the way, extremely expensive, isn't nourishment at all, and feeding that to not just yourself, but also your kids. West Virginia and Arkansas have already submitted those requests. Utah, Idaho, Tennessee, South Carolina, Missouri, Indiana, and others are exploring SNAP restrictions as well. I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know why you need to give your kid and yourself soda, candy, and other highly processed junk foods with basically somebody else's money. Now, I'm not saying people shouldn't need SNAP, but the idea that these handouts are just for anything and everything, it boggles my mind. It really does. Like, we don't have limitations on anything. That's how generous we are. But this is how the progressive left pull at the heartstrings of the American people. Well, you know, how could they not? You don't want to give a kid soda. The guy's living like this. Like, he just needs a little bit of a drink of some pop. Drink water. There you go. There's something for you. So you have that taking place with John F. Kennedy, and I like it. I like what they're doing. Now, here's the AI chatbots. Now, some of you are like, what the hell is this? Some of us, we got an older crew here of patriots on the Bald Brad Show. So now with the messaging apps that you can download, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it with X has a chatbot. You have ChatGPT. I mean, that's the route we're moving in now, where everything's being done. Google, I believe, just came out with agents, is what they're called. Like, you know, like an agent, like like somebody that's willing to go out and do work on behalf of you. It will check it'll actually not just check your emails for you. It will respond to the emails that it finds priority in and makes it sound like you. I mean, we're getting to the point here with AI where you're not going to have to do really anything. And what it's also started to do, and I want you guys to be aware of this, and I want you to be careful about this, is not only can AI now go into your email, if you tell it to, and respond to your emails, but what they're starting to do is social media influencers and companies are starting to band it all together. So, for example, you have a chatbot that will look at, say, my X feed, my Twitter feed, and it will look and see and post. Not only will it post stuff for me, I don't do this, by the way, but I'm just explaining what influencers are going to start doing. It will post stuff for them, meaning the stuff that you're reading on X or Twitter, any social media platform, could potentially be an AI bot. It's not actually the influencer that you watch, the podcaster that you watch. And then check this out. And then it could also see those that are commenting on that reply that the chat AI bot made on Twitter, X, doesn't matter where it is, Instagram. And it will start commenting back to you, and it will start talking to you. You will be thinking, oh, well, That's Brad talking to me. Oh, wow, how cool is that? The guy's responding to me. Oh, now I do that. I don't have an AI bot that does that for me. I never will because I think that's messed up. But that's where we're moving. We're also moving into these sexting people. So let's look at this. I have not seen this before. I've heard of rumors like Snap GPT. The hell's it called? Snapchat. A couple years ago, implemented an AI bot. And what the bot was telling these young kids to do that were becoming attached to it, young boys, young women, is it once it gained their trust, it was starting to tell them to harm themselves and do something terrible to themselves. I'm sure you could read between the lines, like not here anymore, deleted. And they had to send out a warning and an update for the app. So this is the kids don't know how to manage it, right? Their brain's not developed fully. They're not able to navigate these uncharted territories, I guess we can call them. In a bombshell report from the Wall Street Journal released over the weekend, employees at Meta said the company rushed to get these new digital companions or chatbots up and running on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And because these bots can perform sex role plays, there's now a problem where children can get exposed to sexually explicit discussions. These chatbots can flirt over text, they can have live voice conversations, and they can even share selfies. That's crazy. Yikes. Another related issue is that sometimes the AI chatbots have sexual discussions even when they are programmed to pretend to be children. Yikes. Meta also made deals with celebrities like John Cena and Kristen to use their voices for the chatbots. The company promised these actors that their voices would not be used in sexually explicit discussions, but the Wall Street Journal investigation found that a bot using John Cena's voice was willing to engage in a graphic sexual scenario with a user identifying as a 14-year-old girl, and a bot using Kristen Bell's voice flirted with a user posing as a 12-year-old boy, role-playing as Belle's character, Princess Anna, from the Disney movie Frozen. Disney put out a statement demanding Meta put a stop to this. Meta said the way the journal tested the chatbots was manipulative, but did make some changes, including banning kids' social media accounts for being able to do sexual role plays with Meta AI bot and cracking down on it being able to do these role plays using celebrity voices. Now, here's the thing. It's funny they say that, oh, well, they were being manipulative. Isn't that what kids are going to be doing? Isn't that the problem that we have, is that they don't know how to use social media? They don't know how to navigate this territory. Even now, by the way, for like the last decade, the kids that grew up on social media like this, I've seen it firsthand of somebody that, right, I started when AOL came out, the instant messenger, in like 6th or 7th grade. So I've been able to watch the internet and social media kind of evolve, where I have best of both worlds. I grew up without a cell phone, so I grew up playing outside. God, I know we don't see that anymore. Playing in the sand, right? Going to the beach all the time, riding my bike everywhere to get around. There wasn't Uber. You guys all lived in the same time. You get it. And then I got a phone. The ones where you had to go like that. The Ericsson, the prepaid stuff was my first phone in like junior year of college or something like that. Hell, I can't remember. Or college, high school. And so we got to see it navigate. And I have best of both worlds. I'm not attached to my phone. I sometimes forget it and leave it at home. It's not a big deal to me. You don't see that nowadays with these kids. They can't do it. They start shaking. They start hyperventilating. I've seen this firsthand. And I've seen the damages that not only social media has done to these children, but also just technology and phones altogether. I am not for limiting people's liberties, but when it comes to children, I think we have a more of a responsibility of adults to limit the age of when somebody's able to utilize technology and is able to utilize a cell phone. I don't think parents are fully aware of the damage that has been done to their child throughout for the rest of their life. I really don't think people realize it, you guys. And again, if that's what we want to do as a society, if that's the can that we want to keep kicking down the road, watching the disastrous outgrowths of what social media and cell phones have done to our kids, then that's the route that we go. But as somebody that's in the education system that sees how, and I'm going to cuss right now, how fucked up it is to watch these kids not able to put their phone away, It's crazy. It's no different than you trying to get a dopamine rush doing drugs. You're basically watching somebody on a mass scale doing drugs right in front of you. That's how it correlated, because that's all they're doing, right? They're going to their phone because that is not only programmed in them to constantly go in their pocket, take out their phone, swipe, 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 put their phone away, take out their phone, swipe, 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 respond, put their phone away. It's just a back and forth thing. It's fucking crazy to watch, you guys. I'm telling you, if you have an opportunity, if you still have a kid in school and they're like high school or middle school, you need to just go in, I know you have to go to work, take a day off work and go sit in the classroom all day. Just sit in the back. Don't say shit. Just sit in the back. Don't even bring attention to yourself and watch the crazy stuff that's going to unfold for you. Your jaw will hit the floor. And if it doesn't, I would be surprised. It says Meta here, when I guess, and did it or whatever, updated it, patched it. I don't know what the hell you want to call it. The condemnation of such chatbots has been swift and widespread. Senator Marsha Blackburn, who we're well aware of, and Senator Richard Blumenthal sent a letter to Zuckerberg on Tuesday demanding answers. What we would like for them to do is to take it down. You have got to disable this type of exposure on these websites for children. Well, I don't think they're going to. So you sent them a letter. Big whoop-de-doo. That's not going to do anything. Now, I like what Florida has done. Florida, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, so I think some of you live in Florida. I believe Florida implemented a law where if you're, was it 16 or under, you're not able to utilize social media. I think that is a good move. Not to mention all the predators, the psychos out there, and the more advanced, by the way, the more advanced, and I think this builds in even more reason to stop allowing children to utilize social media, is AI is getting so good that you're not able to tell the difference between the two. Sometimes you can, I'll be fair. Sometimes you can, depends on what's being created. But if you look at, was it Soro or whatever was created with the video, there are legitimately videos where there is no uncanny valley. You can look at it and you're like, that's a real person. So uncanny valley is where like you kind of look at the image, kind of like we saw in Star Wars, the like Rogue One, where they brought back that one guy that's been dead for a while. And you're looking at it like, it looks good, but you have the uncanny valley. You could tell that that's, 3D imaging that was created by a human being. There is no way for some of these images and videos to be able to tell the difference between the AI. So I want to see, let me see if I can pull up what I'm talking about here with the imaging. And while we wait for this, seems like the internet's running kind of slow. Let's just take a moment to shout out some people in the chat here. We have me jumping into random people's conversations, it looks like. Yikes, watch out for alligators. Do we have alligators in AR? We did in Louisiana. It looks like somebody maybe got eaten by an alligator. Shrek is uncanny. Yes, Shrek is very uncanny. But let me show you like an example of this. I mean, this is still actually a little bit more AI for me, but see the eye? I mean, this is all AI, by the way. This is text to video model, and this is old. This is actually an old one. So you can still kind of tell because the focus is a little off, but this is all AI as well. This is all AI. This is like, you could tell, remember, this is the older version, older model. Okay. This is from a year ago. It's way better than this, like way better. And I wanted to see if I could find the actual video, but we will see if I can. Here it is. This is the one I was looking for. Here we go. So this one's from the Wall Street Journal. And there's an image of a gentleman. And this is where I mean, this is the Wild West. This is the cool stuff that we're going to get into with AI, is that I think AI is going to be able to create realistic time periods like you're seeing here. I want to be clear. Everything you're about to see is artificial intelligence created. So this is the Wild West. It looks like you are entering in like, what's that, Little on the Prairie? What was that old show we used to watch? Little House on the Prairie. This is like looks like the opening scene kind of for that, right? Completely AI. This is supposed to be historical footage from the gold rush. This is crazy. So this is what I mean, is that this is the problem with social media. This is the guy. That guy, wait till we see his face. That is uncanny valley right there. I actually want to get to that in a little bit. That's the image I want to show you. This is from a while ago. AI is exponentially getting better, meaning it is better than what you're seeing now by far. These people aren't real. They're completely fake. Now you can tell, right? The chair's hovering by itself. So you're going to have people pretending to be somebody, and they're not who they say they are, and they're the ones that are talking to your kid. And your kid will be sending nudies back or doing something else because they're kids. But this image here, there's a close-up of this guy's face, and you can't tell that that's AI. That looks like a freaking real dude. So that was from a year ago, by the way, and it's way better. So that's why I think we need to really start having that conversation about, kids in and on social media. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to be ending about 6:50, a little bit earlier today. I actually have an earlier work meeting than usual. So thank you for your understanding on that. Not that I want to cut you off by 10 minutes. I don't think that's very fair, but I think we kind of made it up with the 3 hours yesterday. So I think I feel pretty comfortable, but I always feel bad for limiting you guys. There's this breaking news story here this morning where a migrant has been charged with killing a Louisiana father. Here. Olivia Hayes, whose husband Wesley was killed by an illegal immigrant. Quote, the previous administration's broken policy broke my family. This is god awful. I mean, I feel even bad kind of presenting to you guys in the morning, but I think it's important to highlight these scenarios that are happening on a weekly basis that the media is trying to cover up. Thank God we have Fox News and some outlets that want to bring light to this, but they won't cover this because it goes against, meaning them, the legacy media, the mainstream media. Fox News is a part of that, but I mean, they're like the outlier, right? They don't want to talk about this stuff because it goes against their narrative. This guy that allegedly killed this person's husband, a Maryland man, just a good guy, a Louisiana man, we'll call him, flipping burgers, sweeping the streets, part of the neighborhood watch, trying to help people out. The guy goes to church every Sunday, right? He's the one that, he's the usher. He brings you to your seat. He prays on behalf of you. He'll take the shirt off his back for you.
Our previous administration's broken policy broke my family, and nothing will bring him back. However, in President Trump's first 100 days in office, his firm action will prevent our tragedy from becoming someone else's reality. Mm-hmm. To name a few highlights that have contributed to President Trump's success so far is, he's resumed the border wall construction. He's negotiated with Mexican authorities to ensure that their side of the border is being patrolled properly. He has enabled Tom Homan to enforce immigration laws and holding sanctuary cities accountable for not adhering to those laws. Mm-hmm. Because of these actions, we've seen, like you showed earlier, over a 95% decrease in illegal border crossings. This statistic proves that all we needed was a president who cared and a qualified border czar to protect innocent American lives from an invasion of not only criminals, but those who disregard the American policies and processes in place to be an American citizen.
That's sad, man. That picture with her husband and clearly a newborn, and now that daughter has to be raised by either another, maybe she'll be remarried or something like that, or a single mother. And these are the points and the images that the mainstream media doesn't want you to see and aren't going to show it because it goes against their narrative. It goes against their whole fabric of being, where they want that empathetic movement, that feeling to take place, where Donald Trump's a terrible man for removing these people that should have never been here in the first place. Oh, he's just so awful. Oh, God forbid he removes a guy that murdered a bunch of people. How do we know that? They're going to other countries and actually visiting these people in prison. It's wild. And people eat it up on the Democrat side of the aisle. They eat it up. So Donald Trump yesterday, we're going to be going over bunch of clips at the moment here, a bunch of clips. So buckle up here. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. There's a bunch of people watching on X. Appreciate you. If you could repost, retweet is what we used to call this live stream. That'd be greatly appreciated. It would help me out a lot, actually. I'm a one-man show here. We have some people helping out with moderation, which I appreciate. Now that we're getting bigger, I need the help because people have been coming in saying racist stuff. So I was an Insta-ban. There was a person last night that I forever removed for saying a bunch of Nazi stuff, so they get to go. Notice it's always the left, right? There's no reason for a Republican or conservative to come into a Republican and conservative podcast and start calling a Republican and conservative and Donald Trump a Nazi. It's always the progressive left, which none of us should be shocked that it's the progressive left saying racist stuff. They're literally the party of racism, slavery, and the Klan. I am not shocked when they start saying racist stuff. I'm not shocked when they implement policies that are racist, affirmative action, and others. It doesn't surprise me, but that's why we need to help with moderation. So here's Donald Trump being asked by ABC, and again, we're going to be going over a lot of these clips. What's the one thing, just one thing that you think is the most significant thing you've done in these 100 days? And he talks about the border, and he's right.
What's the one thing, just one thing, that you think is the most significant thing you've done so far in these 100 days?
Well, I think maybe the border is the most significant because our country was really going bad. They were allowing people to come in from prisons, as you know, and you've heard me say it, but you've heard a lot of people say it. Prisons, mental institutions, gang members, murderers. We had many murderers, 11,888, they think. Some murdered more than one person. So you had murderers coming in, you had everybody coming in, and not just South America, from all over the world. They were emptying their prisons into our country. And now it's totally closed down. And you've seen just yesterday, they announced 99.9%. Nobody thought that could happen. And it happened quickly, very quickly. And I think that's very significant. But we're doing other things that are very significant. The results will take a little bit longer because it's one of those, you know, it's complicated. It's many years of trading abuse. We've been abused by other countries for years and years. They laughed at us. They thought we were stupid people. And we're fixing it. And I think that's going to be very, very important. But
I have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, I would really say that the border is so important.
I think there's a case to be made with how bad the border was, that if this was all Trump was known for and did, is a case to be made that his presidency was a success. In my opinion, there's only two things that I've really wanted out of a president right now, and that was secure the border, stop the massive flow of illegal immigration, and to figure out our debt crisis, because we're going to embark. I mean, we're going to actually see it. $37 trillion in debt, which is just mind-boggling. You can't actually fathom that number and what that really looks like. So I would say if Donald Trump continues just those two things, in my mind, his presidency will be a success. That is what I'm quantifying it. Now, he has said that he's going to do a lot of things and he's keeping a lot of promises, which is all true. He is working on those. But those two things would allow me to say his presidency was a success because those are the two main things that I voted for him in office to fix. He also talks about, this is what I campaigned on. I said that we've been abused by other countries on levels that nobody's ever seen. And I could have left it the way it was. I mean, well, one, he could have just not ran at all. The guy could be on the beaches of, hell, I don't know, Delaware like Joe Biden, getting massages and margaritas, maybe some pina coladas, even though he doesn't drink. You can get virgin, and enjoying his life. But no, he's here trying to fix the crap the Democrats always create, a bunch of problems, and he's trying to fix it.
And this is what I campaigned on. I said that we've been abused by other countries at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We were losing $3 to $5 billion a day on trade. We were losing $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion a year, not sustainable. They were taking advantage of us like they've never. I could have left it that way, and at some point there would have been an implosion like nobody's ever seen. But I said, no, we have to fix it. I've wanted to do this for many years. You know, I had the best economy during my first term. We had a tremendous economy, tremendous success. And we did tremendous numbers of tariffs we took in a lot of money from tariffs, China in particular, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. We had no inflation, as you know. We had an incredible economy. We're given credit for a great economy. But I said, we have to fix this. Otherwise, it's just not self-sustaining. And this is
And I wonder how long Donald Trump will go on with, I mean, the market has kind of plateaued. And actually, let's take a peek at the current market trend right now. It seems like it not peaked. It seems like it has plateaued. I was looking at it yesterday. With everything that's going on, it seems like the market has kind of stabilized itself. And watch, like it's just a freaking nosedive. That'd be hilarious. So this is what it looks like right now. And here is kind of at the beginnings of the Trump presidency, around January 20th would have been right here, right? And it peaked. So it peaked at about 6,100 and, or maybe, yeah, about 6,100 and some change. But now we're looking at 5,500. So really, this is kind of when everything was happening right here, right? Everything right here with the tariffs and the talk and the conversation. You're seeing a decline, and these purple markings mean economic events. But you're kind of seeing it starting to stabilize. So let's go to 1 month here. You see the dips, right? The volatility. But now you're kind of seeing it starting to stabilize somewhat. So here's the 5-day massive dip. But we are going to see what's happening. A lot of people are talking about how the ports are empty. Mind you, I live right next to one of the biggest ports, not only in the world, but also in the United States, which would be Long Beach. Long Beach is a massive port, and there's ships still coming in. So people are saying, oh, well, we're not going to have any goods. Oh, we're screwed. Look at what China's ports look like. China's ports have always looked crazy. So we're going to see what plays out. And Donald Trump, you got to let the guy cook. Let the chef cook, get the fuck out of the kitchen and shut up. That's what I have to say to people. It's true. Just pretend that you're the one cooking. And sorry to cuss. I think I threw some people off there. We're trying to work on it. But you're cooking, right? You're the one that's on the hot. You're in the kitchen sweating your butt off. And you're the one that's cooking for everybody else. And you know what you're doing, right? You've been a chef for a while. You're trained as a chef. The guy was trained as a businessman. The guy made billions of dollars. I think he knows what he's doing in terms of negotiating deals and working contracts and all that stuff. Just cooking. And you got all these people just talking in your ear, talking crap. No. You don't know what you're doing. You're using too much oil. Oh, that's too much salt. That's too much pepper. All this crap. Get the hell out of the kitchen. Get the hell out of the kitchen. You're not the one that's doing it. You're not the one that's actually giving stuff that makes sense. So you know what? Get the hell out and go sit over there and leave the chef alone. Do any of you go into a restaurant and start talking in the chef's ear that they don't know what they're doing? No, nobody does that. Well, some people do. The Karens do. The crazy people do. No offense, Karen. I know your name's Karen, but you understand that we're not talking about you. So you get it. Y'all get it. So he's been there for 3 months, and he's been talking about a trade deficit. And he's talking about the numbers here. So it's a very short clip, but he's not wrong. He talks about Biden's country as well.
I've been here for 3 months. I've taken a trade deficit down to a number that's very starting to get really good. I just got here. We had a country that it was not sustainable. What Biden did to this country, between the open borders where criminals poured into our country, between every country in the world ripping us off on trade, it was not sustainable. I've been here.
I don't know if that's true, that it's not sustainable, but, and I will continue to kind of reiterate this, that we need to bring manufacturing. And still, it's been going on weeks. I went on a vacation and still have not heard an answer from a Democrat or progressive, doesn't matter, anybody on the left-hand side of the aisle, hell, even an independent. If we were to go to war with China, I just want to call this out. If we were to go to war with China, India, it doesn't matter. Go to war at all with an adversary, because Russia, right? The Axis powers, Russia, China, Iran, they're all kind of in cahoots with one another. Who is going to make and mine all the materials and goods that we're going to need for war? Somebody please answer that for me, because it's funny. Democrats are complaining right now. Well, you know, how could we be going to a trade war with China? They give us all the precious metals we need for our military. Thank you for making my point, you idiot Democrats. Thank you so much. Exactly the point I've been saying and making. If we rely on them for everything, when you chop off the hand that feeds you, guess what happens? You get effed. And it's better to have a little bit of pain than it is to have a lot of pain. It's better to still have things on the grocery shelves than it is to not have anything at all. And when I say not anything at all, it'll be you eating the bark and leather off your damn shoes and the bark off trees, the soil in the ground just to get nutrients. People need to wake up to how much of a hole we have dug ourselves. And I don't think a lot of Americans realize what $37 trillion in debt looks like. I don't think they comprehend. I know you, please understand, I'm not talking to the Patriots on X or anybody in the chat other than those that fully aren't comprehending how serious of a situation it is that we are $37 trillion in debt. We have to pay that back with interest. And the interest is only growing more and more. You have to cut jobs. You have to cut government. You have to get rid or revamp the Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the entitlement programs, we'll call them, we'll lump them in. Entitlement programs represents 70% of our budget. Military is not even in the top 3 of spending, folks. It's a myth. You can pull it up yourself. You can literally go to the government's website and look at the government budget yourself. It's actually out there. This is not a sustainable movement, idea that the Democrat Party and honestly even Republicans want. We need to figure this out, or you won't have anything. And I mean that. And I'm not being an extremist here. I'm taking my knowledge from being an accountant, doing finance advice, personal finance, teaching finance. That doesn't mean I know everything. Please understand that. I'm not saying I know more than you. Some of you know vastly more stuff about that than I do. I can't raise the alarm bell more than what I do here on the show, that we need to figure this out, and people need to stop complaining that, oh my God, I can't buy said product. If bleep hits the fan, that product and more are going to be gone. You think that you're having pain now. Wait till you find out what happens when China invades Taiwan and they cut you off from all chips. The chip that's in this monitor, the chip that's in this camera, the chip that's in this phone, the chip that's in my computer, the chip that's in this microphone, all of it fucked, gone, not going to have it anymore. Hello? How do I explain this to people? You guys get it. Please understand. This is for the Democrats, the press. They don't get it. They don't get it. The one thing I feel like for them to understand it is put them into a scenario where they don't have any of those things. They don't have anything that China provides them. We've lived in this fictitious reality for so long that they don't even understand what it's like of how things are supposed to be. They don't understand that you're not supposed to use a credit card. Folks, it wasn't that long in our lifetimes. I want to point out, in our lifetimes, I know I'm rambling and ranting. We're like, Brad, where's the news? Forget that right now. This is important. Credit card debt, having a credit card in our lifetimes, all of our lifetimes, unless like you're a youngster, like 18, 16, that this wouldn't apply. It used to be frowned upon to use a credit card back in the day. As a culture and in America, it used to be frowned upon to borrow money from anybody. In the same way it used to be frowned upon to divorce somebody. Not anymore. It's completely normal to use a credit card, finance something. Oh, I don't have the money for it. Let me just buy it. Or just buying a bunch of shit that we don't need. How many of us, now I don't do this, but how many of us have a room in our house that's full of crap? Now, do you have a right to buy whatever you want with your money? Absolutely. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I have a point to make here, that we've been living in this lavish lifestyle, not everybody, but a lot of Americans, even those that are in debt because they drove themselves in debt, because they bought a bunch of stuff they shouldn't have bought, or they made purchases that were a bad purchase at one point and it only exacerbated the problem to get to the situation they're at now. How many of us have a room in the house that we don't let people look into because it's full of shit? Or when we have people over, we throw all the stuff in that room. How many of us have a garage that's just full of shit that we don't even know what's in there? We haven't actually seen this stuff in years. How many of us have a whole nother place that we have to drive to that is full of stuff that we never look at and we never see? How many of us have stuff like that? I'll tell you what, a lot of places around the world don't have any of that. It's just us, because it's all we do is consume. We don't produce here anything anymore. That is a problem. That is a massive problem. And you all understand that. So you have basements that you do that stuff with as well. That's not a good, by the way, not only is that mentally not a good thing, but it's also physically not a good thing. And financially, it's not a good thing to have all that stuff just sitting there. And maybe some of us in the Patriots need to hear that. By the way, I don't have a room like that. I don't have a room that I keep stuff in that's like just, I don't use. Everything that I have, I use. And that's, frugal. That doesn't mean, oh, look at me. But that's the culture we've created ourselves. And it takes decades to change culture. Culture takes so much money, time to change. It's a generational, multi-generational problem that we have to solve. And that's why I keep saying Donald Trump, I'm just going to say now, Donald Trump ain't doing this shit in 4 years. I'll fucking say it to you guys right now. He is not fixing this shit in 4 years. I will go as far as say you are all out of your mind if you think Donald Trump's going to fix the debt and all the shit the Democrats and these politicians have done for decades. In 4 years, you're out of your mind. I love how optimistic you are. No way in hell. I will eat my damn words if this guy fixes it all in 4 years. That doesn't mean I don't love Trump. That doesn't mean that I have to show the hat, right? Because people are like, well, maybe you don't like this guy. Voted for him for 3 times. Absolutely love the guy. Love everything he's doing. Our hole is dug so deep that this one man cannot get us out of it. Maybe I'm wrong. We will see. But the problem is, even if he does fill in some of that hole, you're going to get some knucklehead jackass that's going to come back in and just start throwing more dirt into it. But it's called the Democrat Party. It's called the Democrat Party. So I know people don't want to hear that, but at least I'm honest with you guys. At least I tell you what I think, right? That I'm not like beholden by some corporation that's paying me to say or do something. At least I'm realist with you guys. That's okay if you disagree. That's great. But we're 37 trillion. Let's go to the debt clock. Let's go to this really quick. By the way, I have more news to cover. It's not like I'm trying to kill time. But I have fun just talking. Just rambling. So let's go to the debt clock. Take a little peek-see at this. So right now, maybe some people, see, what's nice is we all pay bills, right? We all have either rent or a mortgage, electricity, water, trash. I mean, we get free when we pay our taxes, all that stuff, right? We're all in the same boat together, which is nice. Now, this number here is going to hit $37 trillion. Just in the chat really quick, let's just pretend this is not going to happen, but let's just pretend that our notes were called on. China is about 7% of this national debt. So whatever 7% is of, let's say they're about 3.6. Let's say they're about, 7%. Yeah, 7% of this debt. Japan has some of our debt as well, which is what you kind of saw the selling off of our bonds, our treasury bond. I think it was our treasury bonds, right? If I have that right. Which is why Donald Trump kind of put a pause on the tariffs. Anybody in the chat, just going to ask, some of you might, you're right here. Debt per taxpayer. So this is just you. Meaning this is Pat, or this is Lulu. Okay. This is Jeff or Angel or John. Okay. This is Mahila. This is Mizzy. This is all of us individually. Karen, Betts, Dave, Krager, Jason. I see all of you guys. Okay. If I didn't list you, I apologize. Dizzy. You all owe, including me, $323,000. Let's just say we got called on our notes today, this 37 trillion. You would have to write a check today for $323 freaking $1,000. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the kick in the nuts. I said Dizzy. That's just you. Folks, some of you are married like I am and have a spouse or a significant other, fuck, even a girlfriend. They too, them too, has to pay $323,000. Anybody in the chat have about $650,000 $1,000 laying around, plus interest, by the way. Anybody. Because if you do, I have a website to show you for a donation tab at the top called Bald Brad. Correct. That is per taxpayer. Not household, not couple, not married. Yeah. Yeah. Now, hopefully I'm getting taxpayer right. I believe this is just per everybody that's actually paying taxes. That's crazy. Now, where's the interest at? Right here. There you go. There's the interest for you. Let's go over these numbers. By the way, almost every single adult, about 18 to 20 that I talk to, that's the great thing about teaching finance is I get like to actually take my own like a sample, my own study. I want to say it was about 95% of students, it might be even higher than that, had no idea that we're $37 trillion in debt. They had no idea about any of these numbers. When you ask them like, oh, how much do you think our debt is? They're like, oh, I don't know, like a couple trillion maybe. Like, how much money do you think you owe to the government? I don't know, like a couple thousand. They have no idea that they're about to incur this kind of debt. Not a clue. So here's your social programs, by the way. So this is about $3.2 trillion of the budget. It's more than that, just a heads up. Here's our defense budget, okay? The interest we pay is $1 trillion. You might be like, well, Brad, interest is going up. Correct, because we're screwed. Well, China, Trump's going to a trade war with China, and well, what are we going to do if they don't give us minerals and precious metals and start making us stuff? Exactly. Exactly. They live in this reality where they think that evil doesn't roam this earth or something, and that there's not people murdering and concentration camps out there in China still and other countries that people. How do you wake people up? You know what I mean? How do you wake these Democrats and these libs, these snowflakes, these idiots that live in some fucking multiverse? They live in like a different reality than the rest of us. Well, who's going to make my shoes? It's so cheap. You've been living in a fantasy world. God. The vast majority of history have not lived like we have lived. We consume and we don't produce. If shit were to hit the fan, which by the way, history tells us happens pretty often, we're fucked. Somebody has to tell you that. No conservative, as far as I'm aware, let me know, is anybody else describing it like this of how effed we are by relying on our enemies, our adversaries for shit? It's just like, it's mind-blowing. Let's rely on the people that fucking hate us. Oh, that's a good idea. I know we didn't really cover the news today, but I'm sorry. I think this is a little bit more pressing of an issue. They've never experienced without. Exactly correct. Exactly correct. If people don't have common sense, you can't wake them up. Well, that's correct too. Brad, time for work. Great show. Pat is holding me to that. Yeah, I actually do have. Well, I got a minute. I got 30 seconds. Especially military wise, the Navy, we can't even build warships. Jeff is exactly bringing up a point that was covered in yesterday's news that I didn't cover, but it was in the news. It has been in for quite some time. They're talking about actually building naval ships here in the United States, if we can build them at all, that would be unmanned. Yeah, we can't build ships. We don't have the stuff for it. We're not mining here because of the EPA, right? All the environmentalists losing their shit. Wait till they get their shit pushed in and they have a wake up moment going, oh fuck yeah, maybe we should have listened to those Republicans. Maybe we should have listened to those conservatives and mined and drilled and had stuff more efficient. Folks, I just want to call this. Hold on. Yeah, I'm on a rant. It's been a while. I'm due for one. What percentage, I forgot what it is, what percentage of America would die if China cut off our power? Isn't it like 60% or something? A study done by the government. Let's see. There was a study done by the United States government to see what would happen if our power went out. So there's a study that was done. The claim made that 60% of Americans would die if China cut off our power grid likely stemmed from a 2008 report from Congressional EMP Commission. Okay, 60% of you would be dead in like a week. This report warned that a prolonged nationwide blackout, such as caused by a high-altitude electromagnetic pulse attack, which would be a nuclear warhead going off over our airspace, which is the most likely result of what they would do, could result in the death of up to, I'm going to say, come here, listen closely, because Patriots, you get this. Listen to this carefully. If they were to release a nuclear warhead just above our airspace, it doesn't even have to fucking come even anywhere clear. Our entire electric grid is wiped out because our electric grid is archaic. Listen to this. Could result in the deaths of up to 90% of U.S. population within a year. The projected fatalities would primarily be due to the collapse of critical infrastructure, leading to shortages of food, water, Medicare, and public order. Now, what it says here later on, it says, however, it's important to note that this 90% figure is based on worst case scenarios and has been subject to criticism. Well, there's always criticism. I promise I'm going to end with this. Let me see this. Now, what was the number? There was a number of like so many would die within like 3 to 6 months or so. Here we go. In the first 3 months. So basically, this 100 days that we've been living with Donald Trump in office, 3 to 50% of America would die if China just did that one thing with an EMP. And by the way, they have a hypersonic missile, and I don't know if that hypersonic missile is able to carry a nuclear warhead yet. I also want to make this aware. We have no way to combat China's hypersonic missile, by the way. So Hegseth was talking about this, as well as a military general leader, and was saying that they could take out our entire Navy fleet if it was all conglomerated, like in one area, like aggregated, in 20 minutes. I'm going to say that again. I don't think people have woken up to the shit that we're in right now. That we've dug ourselves so fucking... we're a superpower, but if you think our military can't get wiped out, you are wrong. Their missiles that they've created could take out our Navy if it was all together in 20 minutes with these missiles. We don't have any way. We have no way of actually stopping them. Just a heads up. People need to wake up. Things aren't like what they used to be anymore. At least I'm going to be a realist with you. Not going to lie to you. There's no reason for me to blow smoke up your ass. I don't know any of you. I love you guys. Yeah, I love hanging out with you. But I'm always going to be real with you in what I think. We're not in a good position. We're not in we're not even in a position to actually defend ourselves. We have no Navy, by the way. I mean, we have the world's largest Navy, but we don't have a Navy in a sense. We can't build ships. By the way, look at what happened in Pearl Harbor. You want to know the reason why we're able to come back so much? The Japanese, when they attacked Pearl Harbor, the reason why they did it is they thought there's no fucking way that the Americans could ever come back from this. We're going to cripple their Navy so hard that they could never come back from this, and we're just going to steamroll them. You want to know why anybody want to take a guess why we were able to come back so quickly? Just throw it in the chat really quick. Why on God's green earth was America in the 1940, from December 7th, 1941, when Pearl Harbor happened, why were we able to come back and kick the shit out of the Japanese and the Nazis? Anybody want to tell me in the chat why we were capable of doing that? This is the point I'm going to make. I will wait. I don't want to go to work yet. I want to make this point. Thank you. Let me do it. I did have a heart out 5 minutes ago. I just have to get dressed that much quicker. I know I'm going to be late. I love you guys. There you go. Lulu Materials. Who else? There you go. Ding, 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 ding. Thank you, Dave and Lulu. Exactly. We had the materials and we had the manufacturing power to do it. So if China or Iran or somebody was to take out our military, which is plausible at this case in time, at least what our side is saying with these hypersonic missiles that China has that we can't defend ourselves against, how the fuck are we going to come back? How are we going to do it? Just it's going to come out of thin air because that's what the Democrats think. That shit just comes out of thin air. Folks, the Democrats think you could fucking shapeshift into another human being, like sexual being. They think you go from a male to a female. That's how off the reservation these people are. They don't live in reality. Manufacturing materials. See, everybody gets it. God, it's amazing what we can learn from history. And it's amazing how we can't look back and go, fuck, we really positioned ourselves in a bad spot right now. Well, there we have it. So we didn't really cover much news, but we covered important news and things that I think we need to start addressing. Now that we're addressing the border, we need to address the military and we need to address our debt. Okay, the border is secure. We're deporting people. This is a mega, mega problem. We have Boeing, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon are still in the U.S., Brad. I know this for certain. Yeah, no, I'm not saying, but what I'm saying is we don't have, according to our own military, and they could be bullshitting us. This is according to our own military. I wish I still had the article. I had it like 2 days ago. We don't have a way to combat China's hypersonic missile. I'm not saying we can't create it or have it ourselves. We can't fight against it. China right now has put 200 warships in the South China Sea to combat our Navy. And these are like ships that basically they don't care if get blown up. These are ships that solely can attack and just delete us quickly. So it's a problem. It's a big problem. But anyways, that doesn't mean I don't like our military, guys. Come on. Anyways, with that being said, I got to go. I love you guys. I appreciate it. I do have to go to work. I'm going to have to get dressed in like 2 minutes. Appreciate all of you. We'll be back here tomorrow for the Bald Brad Show at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And tomorrow, is tomorrow Thursday? Tomorrow, I believe we do have Dark MAGA. That one will not be open to the public, but we will try to put as many hours as we can. So that means the future Dark MAGA podcast can be open to the public. So we usually try to knock that out in a week. And then that means 3 weeks is open up to everybody, which I think everybody enjoys Dark MAGA podcast. With that being said, hit that like and subscribe button. Share this all over social media with your friends and family. Tell them about the account. Tell them about the Bald Brad Show. Tell them about the book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Have a blessed day, you guys. Hopefully we didn't end off on a bad note. Hopefully we ended off on a great note. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for America to be great again. It is great. Let's make it greater. With that being said, take care, Patriots.